The Dyatlov Pass Mystery. In the winter of 1959, 9 experienced university hikers set out on an expedition into the remote Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. They were young, confident, and well prepared for one of the toughest winter journeys imaginable. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, had carefully planned every detail. They smiled for photographs, wrote in their journals, laughed around campfires, and continued deeper into the frozen wilderness. Then, they disappeared. When the group failed to return, days turned into weeks. Families waited anxiously. Radio calls went unanswered. Finally, rescue teams were sent into the mountains. What they discovered would become one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. The hikers' tent stood abandoned on an exposed mountainside. But something was terribly wrong. The tent had been sliced open from the inside. Inside were neatly arranged boots, warm winter clothing, food, cameras, everything they would have needed to survive. Yet the 9 hikers had fled into the freezing night, many without shoes, many barely dressed. A single trail of footprints led away from the tent, disappearing into the snow. Then came the first heartbreaking discovery. 2 of the hikers were found beneath a giant cedar tree. Nearby, the remains of a small fire, as if they had desperately tried to stay alive. Over the following weeks, more members of the expedition were discovered across the mountainside. Their positions suggested they had been trying to make it back to the tent. Months later, after the spring thaw, the remaining hikers were finally found, and the mystery only deepened. Some had suffered devastating internal injuries, yet showed almost no external wounds. One victim was missing her tongue, another had crushed ribs. Investigators were left searching for answers, but none seemed to fit every piece of evidence. Even stranger, reports claimed that traces of radiation had been found on some of the hikers' clothing. Rumors spread rapidly across the Soviet Union. Was it an avalanche? A secret military weapons test? Experimental explosions? Or something far more mysterious? Some witnesses even reported strange, glowing orange lights moving silently across the night sky around the same time the hikers vanished. Over the decades, countless investigators, scientists, journalists, and historians have returned to the case. Every new theory explains some of the evidence, but never all of it. Official conclusions continue to be questioned. New research continues. New debates continue. Yet the mountains remain silent. Perhaps the only people who ever truly knew what happened never came back to tell the story. Whatever happened on that frozen mountain, the Dyatlov Pass has kept its secret for more than 60 years. And even today, it remains one of the world's most chilling and unforgettable mysteries.